everybody. Welcome back to Extreme Close-Up. I'm Suzanne Senna, coming to you from the Hard Rock Cafe in Los Angeles, a must-see for any true rock fan. And speaking of true fans, Tina Turner has an army of them. People of all ages who love her energy and her spirit.
I kind of felt a duty somehow. I feel even more that this tour is more duty. I'm standing on stage because it is to say to the women, all right, here I am again now. Get it together, because after this, you know, I'm just going to be here a little bit for you and there. It's almost when you get to a certain plateau, you shouldn't say no to your public, because you realize how much they need music and entertainment. And that's my job. I'm an entertainer.
Tina Turner's rise to fame is legendary. She was born Anna Mae Bullock, a sharecropper's daughter who was raised by her father in Brownsville, Tennessee. At 16, she escaped that world and joined her mother in St. Louis, and immediately went about realizing her dream of becoming a performer. Her vision and tenacity led her to a fateful meeting with Ike Turner, who at the time was performing with his band, the Rhythm Kings. The volatile couple had a perfect partnership on stage. The pairing did not work so well once away from the footlights.
I said that I only punched her with my fist once. I said I have slapped her, which I have is like, in the time that I've slapped her with mostly it's been about her looking sad. Yes, because in other words, we lived a lie in reality, and the lie was that she knew she was my friend for 4 years, like going and getting girls for me. This is like when we were just buddies, and she knew what I liked and disliked about different women. So then, accidentally, we had sex. I put it like that in short, and so I felt like that I had gone to bed with my sister something after that.
That person up there on that stage was what had that kind of life which no one ever knew. The shock of that brought another reality and another respect from the public.
Tina and Ike were married for almost 20 years. The relationship was not a healthy one. Ike's alleged drug-taking and womanizing were legendary. Within days of giving birth to their only child, Tina was back on stage performing. Ike knew a good thing when he saw one. She was the star of the show. A bundle of unstoppable sexual energy who could get an audience fired up by just strutting her stuff and shaking her mane of hair. But the hits did not come easily. Fool in Love was their first hit in 1960, but it wasn't until their rendition of Proud Mary in 1971 that they had an across-the-board hit tune.
In terms of my 35, 40 years in the business, it was a journey. It started the first half with Ike and Tina's, the life of a partner relationship on stage. And then there came a second half, fortunately for me. And the second half was all mine, what I wanted, how I wanted it. And then a huge success came from that, because then I was finally really recognized as a singer, not just as a dancer and a performer.
Tina Turner turned her back on her abusive relationship with Ike Turner in 1975, striking out on her own for the very first time. Tina struggled for years waiting for recognition, playing small clubs around the country, trying to reestablish herself. With her irrevocable sexuality, Tina hit the big time 8 years after leaving Ike with the multi-platinum album, Private Dancer. The album produced a number of top 10 hits and garnered Turner 4 Grammys. The lady had finally arrived. For Tina, Private Dancer was just the beginning of her freedom.
Private Dancer starting with the first album, and then my albums giving me credibility as a singer. And so then came, of course, the movie I, Tina was another feather in my cap.
It was during this time that Tina published her autobiography, I, Tina. A film based on her struggle for recognition and independence was produced in 1993. Angela Bassett rose to the formidable task, earning an Oscar nomination for her sensitive and complex portrayal of the dynamic performer.
I met Tina before I actually got the job, so I met her while I was in the audition process, and that was exciting, you know, and really, you know, fired me up, because I was like, and where can I fill this woman's shoes? This is impossible.
Angela Bassett rose to the formidable task, earning an Oscar nomination for her sensitive and complex portrayal of the dynamic performer.
I knew it was just the challenge of a lifetime, you know, up to this point. You know, the role of a lifetime up to this point. But after meeting her and just being around her and her spirit and her, you know, vivaciousness and positive attitude, I just left out of there just flying, you know, you know, and laughing and just ready to tackle it.
Actor Lawrence Fishburne portrayed Ike Turner.
I met him, yeah. I got a chance to meet him. It was a real treat because he was very charming and he was very likable. He told me to do a good job.
Fishburne learned all of Ike Turner's moves for the film.
Listen, this is very dangerous stuff. Don't try this at home. Basically, all right, you watch it. Basically, it's just... That's it. But, you know, you should consult a physician before you attempt to make this maneuver.
And had his own take on the now well-publicized relationship.
This movie, more than just about Ike and Tina, so to speak, is really an example, even if it's an extreme example, of what abusive relationships are like.
For his part, Ike Turner felt he was duped by the producers of the film.
I signed this thing for Walt Disney during the time I was doing drugs, and I thought I signed a contract saying that giving them permission to get somebody else to play me in the movie. I had no idea that they could portray me the way they did in the movie. You understand? And they said, based on the book. Well, I never read the book. Well, I didn't even know what I was signing. Walt Disney, they gave me $45,000. I don't really think she owed me anything, but I think that I'm entitled to something. It's like I gave my whole youth life to our career, and I stayed in the background, you know.
The autobiographical film, What's Love Got to Do with It, was critically acclaimed and earned Angela Bassett an Oscar nomination.
Tina was there. She did my hair, she braided my hair and put on the wig and did my makeup for me in my trailer. And it was really a treat. You know, I didn't expect that, and it was really wonderful and exciting and very supportive and sister. And when she finished, she said, "All right, go ahead on, twin sister."
The 90s were a fruitful time for this age-defying diva. A biography, film roles, and numerous appearances made her a force to be reckoned with.
That was the journey part of it.
But the journey continues, so don't go anywhere. When Extreme Close-Up returns, we'll have more with one of the greatest legends in rock. And Ike Turner begs for a reunion. Stay with us.
I would say, rather than try to batter me today, why don't she reach down and, like, help me to get my career together like I helped her? You understand? I don't want to hand out